Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to be doing a deck profile on the updated Bladewing deck. So Reggie is an old card from set 7 from Season 2 Vanguard. If you remember in the anime, Ren used it against Kenji. But it's an old Dark Regular deck that was arguably one of the better decks, right up there with Amon. So it was one that actually did see play. The only thing that caused it to die off is the fact that Reggie was a 10k Vanguard. But it's very strong pressure card in late game. Now with all the new support and with the ability to get 15 soul relatively easy, Reggie's still viable, I would say. This deck overall, especially with access to really strong stride units. So without further ado, let's get right into it. This deck is very unique, as we'll see as we go along, in that it does not need to run perfect guards, instead opting to rely on quintet walls exclusively. We'll talk about reasons why that is. So, for starters, 2 Bladewing Reggie. You only really need 2 of it because it's typically a card you just want to have in the soul. If you do end up writing it, it's not the end of the world, but you may end up rewriting at some point because of that. So just 2 of him, to minimize the chance of having to ride him. Next, 2 Bladewing Sullivan. Sullivan is your main Vanguard. You'll use this to stall out your opponent so they can't kill you because your defense will be too high, and you'll just keep on fooling around with keeping your soul up at like 17, 19 cards in soul. That's somewhere down there, all dropping down to like 13 soul and going back up with the soul charge effects. So he's a really good card that enables you to run 4 quintet walls, 4 of the new quintet walls that actually work really well with him. Next, the new grade 3 from the set 7 is Bladewing, or it's Wings of Recurrence, Bladewing Reggie. So this is Reggie's new powered up form. It's like Super Saiyan Reggie. In this form, basically what he does is, when he's in the soul, at the end of the turn that your grade 3 Vanguard attacks. So basically when Sullivan or Reggie, one of these 2, attacks, if the attack did not hit, let's see, yeah, if the attack did not hit, you can counterblast 1, discard 3, and ride this as stand. So this is actually used most of the time. It's used to correct riding into Reggie, because Reggie can swing for like 16 or more, and then this thing will then ride on top of him. Then you can potentially, if you have 15 soul or more, then you can Soul Blast 15. He goes up to 26k with a critical of 3. So essentially, you swing with him. It doesn't hit because he has critical pressure or whatever. It's like critical of 3. So then you stack your criticals and triggers on other cards, on your rear guards. Then you ride this guy. Then you swing with it again with like an even more powerful attack. So it works really well. That's kind of the way to play that style. But of course, Sullivan's still in here because I feel like Sullivan just makes the deck have a lot of survivability, and just makes it really hard for the opponent to win. So that's the grade 3 lineup. For grade 2, 4 Bladewing Skies. He's basically Dimension Creeper for Reggie for Bladewings, and he has the ability to Soul Charge when he's placed on R when you have a Bladewing Vanguard. Next, 4 Flirtatious Succubus, because you do want to Soul Charge to 15 as fast as possible. Your deck is not GB restricted at all, so you want to just try to get up to like 10 soul or more as soon as you can. So 4 of this, it just helps you do that. And then 3 Decadent Succubus, same exact reason, and it combos really well when used with Dorian the Thruster. For grade 1s, 4 Bladewing Tarwit. People are probably wondering, like, why are you running 4 of this when you only should run like 2 or 3 or 2 or 1? Well, in playtesting it, this along with Sullivan basically makes it impossible for the opponent to hit. The only way an attack can get through a quintet wall with Sullivan as the Vanguard, and assuming you're at like 18 soul, which is typically where I end up at most games, somewhere around there, to 18, 19 soul, if played correctly, then they'll never be able to hit, because this, just by playing this card, is already a 10k shield by itself because of his ability, and then everything else is plus 10k shield. So you call 5 cards, even your grade 3s will be 5k shield. So yeah, it can like throw up like 80 6,000 shield defense and stuff like that. Ridiculous numbers. So the Quintet Walls are kind of not necessary. And if you notice, there's really no other card in here that counterblasts. The one exception being this guy to do his persona ride, or I guess his re-ride. That's it. So yeah. So the Quintet Walls have access to the counterblast. Next, for Doreen, because Doreen, you want to rush your opponent down as fast as you can, and then later on pressure them immensely with either of these guys, or hold them off with this guy, and try to close out the game with Gillis to ride. So this, riding this, then calling this Soul Charge 1, this already gains 3, then calling this somewhere either here or there or something like that, is really like stupid rush strong. It's really like ridiculous. So for Doreen, it's a must do on this deck. Next, for Bladewing, Robus. This is the other Reggie support or Bladewing support. That it checks top 5, searches for 2 Bladewings, puts 1 in soul, puts 1 in hand. So basically, like, it puts him in soul and him in hand, or whatever, like however you want to do it. I mean, you get Sullivan in this, then you can put this in soul. Obviously, you're always going to want to put this in soul. And then Sullivan's when you ride. So yeah, really good at 4. 2 stride enabler. Deck's not too heavy on stride, but you do want to get that Gillis stride and a couple of those Tybalt strides. Trigger lineup, 4 draw. Hysteric Shirleys are preferred because they do help you soul charge. If you do not use Hysteric Shirley, then probably run 12 crit. That's all I'm going to say. Then 8 more critical, 4 heal, and the starter is Enigmatic Assassin, because this with Gillis just completely ends games. This with Reggie also can end games, because essentially you're looking at 30k with the critical of 3. So yeah, that's the main deck. Stride. 4 Tybalt to ensure that you can never deck out, and that you can keep on abusing Sullivan's immense defensive capabilities. 2 Frederick, helps set up soul and power up your field. 2 Gillis, should be 4 ideally to become really competitive and really scary, but Gillis still can just straight up win games. I can't believe how many times I won with this guy, like, not really like unblockable attack, but basically unblockable attack because the opponent doesn't have enough shield. Because this guy with a starter is just stupidly strong. Next, 2 of the Darkness Stride. It gives you retire power that the deck doesn't have, so it's relatively good. Then 1 Lyra, because you may rarely ever go into this, but you can potentially use it. 1 Demagogue, if you know you can soul charge a lot with like Flirtatious Succubus or whatever, with like Doreen the thrusters out. This guy's a pretty good choice for that turn, assuming you're not ready for Gillis or whatever. Then just 4 G Guardians, 2 of each. This seems pretty balanced. This one is good, preferred because it gives you the 20k shield with a soul charge 2. This one is good because it does give you a 25k shield, and it does give you resist, so I like this guy a lot. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think of the Bladewing build. I feel like Bladewings are really fun, although a lot of people in my area don't like playing against them because they're really annoying. It's like the match is usually pretty long, unless I can just get lucky with the Gillis kill or a Reggie play. So anyway, guys, that's going to be it. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here now, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.